I partly agree, partly disagree with MAGA is cancer. I do agree that it's growing due to the popularity and success of the MAGA movement. But
Isn't he the
I'm
most
curious,
unpopular modern American president of all time?
and what leads you to believe that? Polls or what?
Yes.
TikTok debates or what leads you to believe he's unpopular, being that he's following through with
The
all of his
polls
campaign promises that
following
led him in?
through.
Oh, absolutely. We have the most secure border in American history. He passed the largest tax cuts in the history of this country. He's implementing the
I
greatest
thought
economic
he was
tool of
trying
all
to be an
time.
everyman. How do tax cuts for rich people help us?
What do you mean he's trying to be an everyman? Do you disagree that the big beautiful bill cuts taxes for the middle class? Do you disagree with that?
Maybe it does, but it's more so a giveaway to the rich. He literally told the oil people, "Give me $1 billion, and then I'll write the tax code to help you
Right.
out."
Right. Well, so I think having tax cuts for all Americans is a good thing, including rich people. But that doesn't make it so tax cuts for the middle class were not given. Do you agree with that? Just because rich people were also given tax cuts? Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's a campaign promise, right? Making it so everybody is paying less in taxes. So that's another one that was fulfilled. He effectively got rid of DEI in the government, and he effectively ended cancel culture and woke culture. Right?
What does that even mean?
Well, it's a cultural change and a cultural shift within the United States of America. So it's something that you just kind of have to observe if you
Can
go out into the real
can
world.
can I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead.
Who do you think tariffs affect more, the middle class or rich people?
Honestly, I think rich people, being that they're the ones who are making the decisions whether or not to import from third world countries
I'm
versus
talking
doing
about, does
local.
it affect the livelihood of middle class people versus rich people more?
I would have to say rich people, being that their
Really?
bottom line. Absolutely, yeah, really. Being that their
You
bottom
think that
line
if
is
a
getting
billionaire
reduced.
becomes a millionaire,
Yeah.
his quality of life has decreased more than the way a
Okay, so
tariff affects
now
a
you're
middle
adding
class
quality of
person
life into this. You're adding quality
who's
of
trying
life.
to just who live paycheck to, doesn't like a third of the country live paycheck to paycheck, and you think tariffs are doing wonders for them?
Right. So you
Did you
just
also see
said
the
who's
job
it
report
impacting more?
last month?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
22,000 jobs
Great. Yeah.
after they got rid of the last person so they could try to cook the numbers. Even
Right.
with cooked numbers, 22,000. You think that
And
his
your point
policies
is,
are doing well for
so
middle
you're
class
you're going to
people?
analyze one data point
The
from one
month
month
before
to
that was
conclude.
terrible as well.
Right. So is job report numbers the only metric to indicate a healthy economy?
Obviously not, and I never argued that it
Yeah.
was, but
Okay.
that's a nice
Okay.
pivot.
So what you're that's a pivot. I mean, that's your one example. What about GDP?
It's
What about a
an example
reduction in inflation? What about bringing in billions of dollars from tariffs? I mean,
to
you're
fund the
excluding
federal. Are
all
you a
of
small
these.
government person?
I mean, not necessarily. I don't think all small government is a good thing. No,
Okay, because the tariffs just fund the federal government.
I understand that. Thank you.
Okay, so that does nothing for middle class people. It's a tax that
There's
mostly
nothing
affects
for middle.
middle class people.
Do you
So it
understand
didn't do anything
the
for middle
debt that
class
we have
people.
is going to
And it's
affect the middle class?
ideologically against conservatism. What do you think about the
Yeah,
$1 trillion
but we're talking
military
about the
we have
MAGA
now
movement.
and the
We're
fact
talking about
that
the MAGA
Doge
movement.
cost more money than it saved?
Right. I mean, I don't believe that, but you're talking about the MAGA movement,
How
right?
much money did
We're
Doge
not talking about
save?
early 2000s conservatism. You understand that?
How much money did, if you don't think that Donald Trump has been out there railing
Donald Trump
against,
was a Democrat like 15 years.
if you don't understand that Donald Trump has been out there on the campaign trail railing against government spending for years, then you
Yes.
just don't know anything.
Okay. Okay. So now you're
Government
talking about
spending is at
government
an all-time
spending.
high.
So, but you just said, do you agree that tariffs are just going straight to the federal government? Yes. Do you think that will not reduce our deficit? Do you think that's not a good thing to reduce our deficit? To have billions of dollars flowing into the federal government? You don't think that's a good thing?
It can be a good thing. It just seems a little bit hypocritical on multiple for
But
multiple different reasons.
your example for that was to reduce spend. He claimed that he would reduce spending. Don't you think bringing in more
Spending's at an
income?
all-time high.
Right. So don't you think
Okay,
bringing in
so
more
that's
income from tariffs? Hold
a
on.
complete
Don't you think
failure.
that's going to offset the increase in spending that we've had over the past couple years?
So effectively tax the middle class to create a more bloated government. Yeah, that's exactly what I think of when I think of MAGA.
Okay.
And when I
Okay.
think of
Well, so
helping the
now
middle class, that's exactly what I think
you
of.
asserted, you agreed with me that the middle class had a tax cut, though. You agree with me there. So, but now you're making the jump that tariffs equals a tax on the middle class. That's the new jump you're making, right? So you have to prove
Who
that is
who
actually
is
happening
suffering
in reality.
at increased prices more, the middle class or rich people?
You're talking
The
about
middle
increased
class
prices.
and the lower class.
So what measures the increase in prices? Inflation, right? Right?
Sure.
Okay, so is inflation
Tariffs are
going
inflationary.
up or down? Right. Okay, so you could say that, right?
So
You could
yeah, so
say
he's
what
not doing it.
Okay, I mean, you could just assert that tariffs are inflationary. Where's the inflation?
You can literally track inflation, and inflation what has it been flat? If it's gone down, it's gone down by tenths of a percent.
Okay. So you're saying even though inflation is trending downwards, the middle class is getting taxed due to
inflation has trended downward, but it's still positive.
Can you please tell me a time in history when we've had negative, or I should say recent history, where we had negative inflation?
I don't know off the top of my head.
It hasn't happened. You just said inflation is positive. Inflation is always positive, Planet Peterson. Well, I'm glad I could teach you something here. So you agree with me? Yeah. I mean, so you agree with me that Donald Trump is bringing in billions and billions of dollars to the federal government, which I think is a good thing, actually. I think
they are supposed to save money, and they're not exactly doing that at all.
So if we're spending a little bit more money, right, but we're bringing
the tariffs have not offset the
money.
Spending at all.
Yeah, but it offsets the spending. Do you understand that?
No, but it hasn't.
What do you mean it hasn't?
They're spending more than what the tariffs are bringing in.
The
change in the military budget alone is greater than the profit we've seen from tariffs.
Can you give me some numbers behind that?
Sure. Don't you know what they are? I thought you were informed on all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're making the claim.
Well, then tell me what they are. I'm looking it up, so tell us what they are.
It's a projection of $1.5 trillion over the next 3 years. So you're saying the military budget increased by trillions of dollars?
I like how you allow the one value to be accumulated over years, and then the other value doesn't get to do that. The military budget went up to $1 trillion, up from like 750 billion.
Okay, so that's an increase of what? 250,000, right?
250 billion every single year.
250 billion. Every single year. Okay, so we're at what? 1.25 billion? Or a trillion, I should say.
What's at 1.25 trillion?
So you're saying 225 billion increase.
250 billion increase. This is saying the White House's reported tariff revenue has reached 158 billion in the calendar year. So, and that's from the White House, who I would trust them less than anybody else, no matter what administration it was.
You're just going to disregard the numbers from the White House.
Did you hear the totality of what I said?
You just said, I'm going to trust them less than anybody else. Isn't that what you just said?
And then what did I say at the end?
No, I didn't hear you.
As I said, that would be the case no matter what administration it is. Okay, I'm not saying it's $0. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't buy their 158 billion because they lie about absolutely everything. So no, just the military spending alone has not been offset. And we're talking tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars for all these imagined detention centers they want to build all around the country as well. So the government the bloat in spending far exceeds what they've been able to take in. First of all, the tax cuts work against that. The tax cuts work against that because a tax cut hurts the deficit because that's revenue. So they're doing these tariffs, but the tariffs are leading to are probably the largest factor in the extremely horrendous job numbers that we're seeing. So that's not helping middle-class people either. And then the tariff revenue itself isn't offsetting at all the
Okay,
bloat
so-
in spending. No.
So you're
Okay,
comparing
here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the just unthinkable corruption that this fucking asshole is engaged in. And I want to know if you care at all about any of it.
Gish galloping now.
This isn't
Go
gish
ahead.
galloping.
So you're not going to switch the topic?
Do you care at all about the just horrendous corruption that Donald Trump is engaged in?
So this sounds like a topic switch. Are we on a new
Yes,
topic? now?
I'm
Oh, so
I'm
it is
switching
gish
the
galloping.
topic.
So when you said you're not gish galloping, you are gish galloping.
That's not what gish galloping is. Gish galloping is not when you change the subject. Gish galloping is when you overload your interlocutor with a bunch of disparately connected ideas to try to throw them off their game. So you don't know that either. So I would like to have a conversation about his horrendous corruption. Is that something?
Sure.
You up for that?
Go ahead.
Do you think that he is engaging in any corruption?
No, not off the top of my head. But
Would
if
it
give me
bother you
examples-
if he was?
Well, it depends what that corruption is.
It depends. What kind of acceptable corruption is there?
By saying, "Oh, my friend wants to be a owner of this hotel, so let me make him the owner of the hotel."
You think that that's acceptable?
Yeah, why not?
Quid pro quos in the gut. You're supposed to be removed from office for doing those kinds of things.
Okay, so the Democrat definition of corruption is a little different than ours.
Give an example.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you think the 32 felony counts are a big deal. You would say that's corruption.
What does that have to do with a Democrat engaging in a quid pro quo? Other than
What does
nothing.
that have to do with a Democrat? All I was saying that
Right.
example.
So you said that for absolutely no reason. You just have your list of
about the
list of
definition
ideas,
of
and you wanted to
corruption.
bounce that one off because you think
Democrat
that helps. So we're having a conversation about corruption. Okay.
Right.
Let's see if we can meet in the middle somewhere.
Sure.
I don't. The fact that you think that some kinds of corruption, especially quid pro quos, are somehow acceptable, I don't understand why you would think that. I don't think that that's acceptable, but
Okay. So go ahead.
But whatever.
Make your case.
Okay. So did you think that Joe Biden was corrupt? Did you go around saying Beijing Biden, Hunter
No,
Biden,
I
Ukraine,
don't really
Hunter
care
Biden,
about
Ukraine?
Hunter Biden.
Were you one of those
No.
people?
Couldn't really care less about Hunter Biden. I think it's actually a show of bad parenting, the fact that Hunter turned out the way he turned out. But no, I don't really care about the whole Burisma or whatever it's called. Couldn't care less.
Okay, interesting. So, when Biden was president, there was that whole Build Back Better thing, right?
I thought that was a Kamala campaign promise, but okay, go ahead.
No, it started in the first year of Biden's presidency.
Okay.
Okay, well, in that there were all these like government, not like subsidies, but like programs and tax cuts, and like they were really trying to bolster the like electric car infrastructure in the United States, because it's like
And then you pump
Green
money
New
for
Deal,
Rivian.
blah blah blah, that kind of shit, right?
Right.
Okay, what's your opinion on any of that, just for funsies?
My opinion on him pumping money into, what was it, American companies to build up the industry? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, like, and like specifically for
Yeah.
like electric vehicles. I can't tell if MAGA hates electric cars or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think I guess it depends on the implementation and who you choose to pump money into, but I think overall it's a good idea to bolster American industries. So, yeah, assuming it was
Socialism.
implemented
Okay,
correctly.
got it. So anyways, so there's this
yeah,
guy.
if that's socialism for you, then yeah, MAGA is socialism.
That just
But I
is
don't know where you got
socialism,
that.
yeah.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just
that's
kind of
a
funny.
comment. Yeah, go ahead.
So there was this guy, and he had this electric truck company. He called it Nikola, like Nikola Tesla. But he was a total fraud. He claimed that he invented all these electric trucks, and he had like these videos supposedly showing them working. But what it really was they just filmed a video of a non-functioning truck going down a hill. So it seemed like it worked, but soapbox cars go downhill, right? So he took in all these, like this huge amount of money and just committed all this fraud. Well, he got caught, but then, so he was going to face prison for that, but he gave $2 million to Biden's campaign fund So Biden pardoned him. What do you think of that?
This guy got caught doing fraud, and then he donated $2 million to him, then get pardoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a great move, but I mean, I don't know the story, so I'll have to look into it to see if that actually happened. I don't remember ever hearing about this.
Well, it definitely happened, but that's the kind of
feel like that would be
corrupt
national
quid
news
pro
if that
quo.
happened.
That's the kind of corrupt quid pro quo that I think should disqualify somebody from office.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: like, the left loves fake news, and you guys claim the right loves fake news. This may just be some right-wing fake news. You never know.
Man,
You
this
guys
is just
fall for fake
incredible.
news a lot,
So
you know what I'm saying?
here's the instructive part
Well,
of
do you
this.
disagree that the left falls for fake news a lot?
Everybody is capable of doing it. You guys,
Yeah, but the left falls for it a lot more.
that's the opposite of true. You guys think
Oh,
Trump
is
won
it?
the 2020 election. So, anyways,
Well, when you say you
here's the
guys,
thing.
I mean,
I have to tell you a secret. I lied.
Okay.
Trump actually pardoned that guy, and the guy gave
so
Trump $2 million.
You had to do a switcheroo. So this is actual left-wing fake news. I
Well,
mean,
no, the
assuming that
story
this
is
actually
real.
happened,
So Trump
I
really
tend to
did
believe
pardon
it
a
did not
criminal
happen.
who stole money from people because he gave him $2 million.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have not heard of this before. I'm doubting the legitimacy that this actually happened, but yeah, I'll look into it.
Because
But this
it's
could just be
against
another
your
example of
guy.
left-wing-
That's why you doubt it.
Dude, you said this was for Biden like 5 seconds ago, and then I doubted it.
Yeah, because I was trying to
never
see
heard
if
of
you
it.
can be consistent. Everything I'm going to tell you is all Donald Trump.
Well, you just
Mich-
said because it's your guy. I doubted it before I knew you were doing a little switcheroo.
you
Did that,
said
like,
I had never
yeah?
heard of it before.
Yeah, never heard of it, and I doubted that this happened.
Do you doubt that Michelle Fiore took $70,000 to build a cop memorial for 2 police officers who had been slain in the line of duty, but then just took the money and gave herself plastic surgery and paid for her daughter's wedding? And then Donald
I have
Trump
no
pardoned
idea
her
who you're
too?
talking
Do you
about.
doubt that that happened?
Donald Trump pardoned who for doing what? For taking
Michelle
money from
Fiore,
the-
she took $70,000 in donations that she said she was going to use to create a memorial for 2 cops that had been killed in the line of duty. Instead, she gave herself plastic surgery and paid for her daughter's wedding. And the memorial never went up. And Donald Trump pardoned her.
Yeah, no, I'd say that's fraudulent. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if that actually happened, sure. Yeah, I don't like that.
It did actually
But-
happen. How about...
Well, I mean, according to the left. I mean, like I said, the
no,
left is the biggest
this
proponent
is
of fake
we know
news.
about this because it's been reported
You guys were trying
on.
to tell us that Biden was competent. I mean, so
I
this is the
never
party
said that.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure you haven't. Yeah.
So what about Paul Walzak, who stole
Biden.
millions of dollars from nursing homes and used that money to buy a yacht? His
Don't
mom
believe your
gave
lying
Trump
eyes.
$1 million and he pardoned him. Not only is the guy not serving any time, he doesn't even have to pay back any of the money. So stealing $2 million from people in nursing homes, is that MAGA?
Yeah. So you're definitely
Yes,
not
that's
leaving out
MAGA.
any evidence.
This
I
is
mean, dude,
you
I
can
don't
look up
trust-
any of
I
these
don't-
examples.
I will.
It's
I'll
not
have
an
to look it
argument.
up. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, the left is such a big proponent of fake news. I can't take the
So
word
your
from saying
argument
literally.
is not. And again, this isn't the left. Democrats didn't write this story. This was done by, I
Yeah.
assume the FBI investigated that guy. But if any of
the
this
left.
wasn't true, then the public records and all the investigation, the police investigation, I thought you guys backed the blue, but you apparently just doubt when it comes to criminals that give Trump millions of dollars and then get pardoned for it. Now all of a sudden you don't back the blue. You just.
So do you back the
I don't
blue?
know.
Do you want to fund?
Anyways, yeah, I believe in funding the police. Donald Trump has defunded the police.
Oh,
So what do you think about Todd and Julie Chrisley? They committed bank fraud and tax evasion, but their daughter spoke at the RNC, so Trump pardoned them. What do you think about that?
you think Democrats are better for police?
My only question is, what do you think about Trump pardoning 2 people that committed bank fraud and tax evasion because their daughter spoke at the RNC?
Okay, real quick. Do you think Democrats are better?
Yeah, so the question is, what do you think about Trump pardoning these people who committed these crimes because their daughter spoke at the RNC?
Right, I'll answer that real quick, though. You think Democrats are better for the police department?
Okay, so you're not going to answer that question.
Well, you said MAGA isn't actually for the police. That's what you just
Donald Trump.
said. Okay, so
He
who do you think's
defunded the
better
police.
Gotcha. So you think who's
Yeah, he
more
defunded the
pro-police,
police.
Donald Trump or Zohan Mamdani? Who's more pro-police?
I don't even know what that means. Zohan
You
has
don't know what that means.
Zohan has walked
You
back
say a
his
living
comments he
from-
made during 2020 about defunding the police. The question is, who actually did defund the police? The answer is Donald Trump.
Right. So okay. So you're
Right.
You're
So you agree. Donald Trump, in fact, defunded the police.
So you're not against Donald Trump sending in National Guard to Washington D.C. Right?
I don't know what that has to do with Todd and Julie Chrisley committing bank fraud and then getting pardoned because their daughter spoke at the RNC. I don't know what that has to do with
Well,
that.
because I'm commenting on something that you said before. I'm just trying to get some clarification on that. So just to be clear,
None of that clarifies anything about whether or not these people should have been pardoned. These criminals should have been pardoned because their daughter said nice things about Donald Trump at the RNC.
So are you for him sending the National Guard to D.C.? Are
No.
you for or against him? Why not? I thought you want to defund the police.
I don't want to defund the police.
don't
I
wanna
literally
defund the-
said I
So if
don't
anyone
believe in
says
that.
Defund the police. You won't support them, right?
I didn't hear
You think
you.
that's a disqualifying thing to say?
I don't agree with defunding the police. I think
Okay,
the police
so like I
should
said,
be
if somebody says that, that's disqualifying, right?
not necessarily, like I'm not a single issue voter, so not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
But do you understand what the original inception of defund the police was? Like, could you describe what
Yeah,
the
I can, actually.
motives and the goals were around that movement?
Yeah. So this is a sort of left-wing talking point that police departments are racists and bigots and targeting minorities. But the actual facts of the matter are that these minority communities
You're
have a
speaking
disproportional
about
rate.
nothing you're saying has anything to do with how much
It
money
absolutely
police
does.
departments are getting.
Oh,
So
it
you have
absolutely
no idea what defund the police originally meant at all. It
When you-
actually didn't mean, its original inception really to basically nobody meant take money away from police departments.
Oh, it doesn't.
It meant
Defund
fund
doesn't
them in different ways. And
yeah,
what
that's
that
why
could
they say
potentially
defund.
mean is take money out of police budgets that are used for specific things and instead use that money to create more outreach, like for social workers or whatever. You're still addressing
this is
the same
the
things
left-wing's
that
favorite
police
tactic.
departments do, but they want to do that in different ways.
Don't
There were
believe
some
your lying-
lunatics that went around saying like, yeah, actually like decrease the number of cops. I don't support that at all. So you actually have no idea what defund the police actually means. So, and that has nothing to do
The
with
left's
Trump's
favorite
pardons.
tactic. Don't believe your ears. Don't believe your lying eyes. Defund doesn't mean defund. It actually means fund them more in different areas. This is why you guys
Buddy,
lost
you
in
can
the last
literally
one.
you can
You
literally
guys
go
are
and
losing
read
it.
about
You
what
guys
their
have-
ideas actually were, and that's exactly what it meant.
Right, that's what defund means. Yeah, it means fund them more. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is literal communist.
What did Kash Patel mean when he said they're going to release the Epstein files? Did he mean that the Epstein files don't actually exist? What did Pam Bondi mean when she said, "Oh, the camera system for that prison every night at 11:59 it doesn't record for 1 minute." Oh, what she actually meant by that was, no, it does, but there was a person walking by on the camera during that minute, so we deleted it and didn't include it. Is that what those things mean, Dirk?
Yeah, so
Does release the files mean the Epstein list is a hoax? It doesn't exist. There was no client list. And does there's a minute of footage that always gets erased mean that there wasn't a minute that gets erased? Is that what that means?
Too. They released thousands of files and the minute that was erased.
Literally all of the files they released were
This is
already
literally like
public.
yesterday, so you must not.
All of the files they released were already publicly available.
What else do you want released?
All of the data, which is what what's his name from California?
That's what the victims
Ro
are gonna-
Khanna and Thomas Massey are working to be able to do that. I hate Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hope she reads the entire client list on the floor of the House, because you cannot be criminally prosecuted for what you say on the House. That's part of our Constitution. I hope that
when
they
you
do
say
that.
MAGA
And guess what? If Bill Gates, who Donald Trump just had at the White House the other day for another billionaire dinner, goes down in flames, then I will celebrate that. Anyways, Dirk, I have a question. There was a sheriff named Scott Jenkins, and he stole $75,000, or not stole. He took $75,000 worth of bribes so that he could give people high-level positions in his police department.
Right.
And Trump pardoned him.
One
He's
Gish
serving
Galloping,
literally
one Gish
zero
Galloping.
time. Does it sound pro-police to you for a sheriff to take bribes from people to become members of the police department, even though they have literally zero training, and then to just get pardoned by Donald Trump? Does that sound pro-police?
Anyways, more Gish Galloping. Great tactics.
This isn't Gish Galloping. I'm just literally asking if you think that this is okay or pro-police.
The topic, that's called Gish Galloping.
I have been on the topic of corruption for a really long time.
You Gish Galloped to corruption. That was your Gish
No,
Gallop.
I literally said to you,
that person.
I would now like to talk about corruption. Is that okay with you? And you consented.
Well, we were originally talking
Unlike
about-
Donald Trump, I ask for consent, okay?
Well, you didn't when you Gish Galloped to this topic. You didn't ask for consent.
Yes, I did. I said, is that okay with you? And you said, yeah,
Well,
sure.
now you're doing it 20 minutes after the fact. Is that okay to get consent 20 minutes after you do something? Is that all right?
Buddy,
Are you for that?
Buddy, this whole thing started off with me asking you, I would like to talk about corruption instead of tariffs now. You okay with that? And you said yes.
Now you're making up fake news. More fake news.
Oh, duh, this is so pathetic. I would like to have a conversation about his horrendous corruption. Is that something?
Sure.
You
go
up for
ahead.
that?
Go ahead.
You okay with, hey, what do you think about Eric Adams, mayor of New York? He's a Democrat, right?
Yeah, he's a Democrat. Yeah.
Yeah, do you like him?
Absolutely not.
Oh, well, what do you think about, so he was doing all that stuff like taking
Right.
money to from
I know he's
foreign
accused of
people
that, yeah.
to fly to Turkey for all these exorbitant trips, right?
Right. I know he was accused of that. Yeah.
Well, a fucking Democrat mayor in a liberal city in a liberal state, let's go after him, right? Oh, except what happened? Donald Trump had the FBI drop all of their investigations into him when Eric Adams started sucking up to him on immigration.
Right.
Oh, that sounds really MAGA, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think the crux of the MAGA issue is immigration and getting a
Fucking
witch hunt.
A, man. Okay, how about Carlos Watson? He founded this thing called Aussie Media. So he would impersonate YouTube executives to garner funds from Goldman Sachs. And then he faked contracts and send them to banks for funding. But so this guy was going to jail for a really long time. But he created like a MAGA outreach influencer thing specifically for black men in America. And Donald Trump said, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So he pardoned him. So are you okay with people creating fake companies and then stealing money from people and then getting pardoned because they reached out to black Americans with a MAGA message?
Mute your opponent and just yap for like 20 minutes straight, constant muting.
The fact that you can't just say that the corruption is bad, it just tells me everything I need to know about you. So how about Jason Galanis? He stole $60 million from Native American tribes, and he bought an apartment, he bought clothing, he paid for a bunch of legal expenses with it. But he testified against Hunter Biden, and so Donald Trump said, hey, I like that, so I will pardon you. You okay with that?
Yeah. And this isn't Gish Galloping from your point of view.
No, it's not Gish Galloping. I'm pausing with every single specific example and asking for your feedback. If it were Gish Galloping, I would have run the whole gamut of every single pardon case and then asked you what you think. Instead, I've been doing them one at a time, and you either won't answer them or you say, herder, but the Democrats, and then something about the police. You wanted to talk about defunding the police. So
you're just saying
at every
fake
single
news.
instance, I've paused after giving you one example to ask you what you think, and you don't care for whatever reason. You can't say that these things that Donald Trump is doing are bad. It's crazy.
The person who said Biden was cognizant, Biden knew exactly what was.
I never said that about Biden. I've been making mashed potato brain jokes about Joe Biden since before he was even elected.
Yeah, you definitely saw that he was demented. Yeah, you definitely saw that.
Yeah.
But you want me to believe the fake news from the person who wanted us to...
People who are ideologically, politically, and whatever aligned with me really actually fucking hate when I do that. And I've been doing it for years because it's what I think, and so be it.
So let's see if you're okay at acknowledging reality. Who's a better speaker, Donald Trump or Kamala?
Who cares?
Have you ever watched Donald?
Corruption.
Have you ever
Hold on,
seen
hold on, I wanna
Donald
hear
Trump
you.
try to read?
Oh, so you think Kamala's better?
She's pretty awkward and she tries to sound profound and she's bad at it. But Donald Trump might have an
was a
IQ of
CBS test.
32. He can't read. Have you ever watched him try to read?
Yeah, this was a Trump derangement syndrome test, and you failed, unfortunately. I actually thought you were kind of normal. I had some respect for you.
What
but
did
the
I-
fact
what
that
did
you
I-
canceled- You just said that Kamala's a better public speaker than Trump. You just acknowledged
I didn't say that. I explained what her
You
weakness
literally just
is,
said that.
and then I asked you if you've ever
so let me
watched
ask you
Donald
again.
Trump
Who's
try
a
to
better
read.
Public speaker? Who's a better public speaker? It's one
Trump
of two
has
options.
his moments where he's better. She can be really ditzy and awkward. She tries to sound profound, but she always, sometimes she, like when she's trying to sound important, it just looks like somebody like trying really hard. Donald Trump, he sounds like he knows about 100 total words.
Do you not acknowledge that may be a tactic to make his point?
Yeah, the weave. Yeah. So is there anything Donald Trump says that you don't believe?
That's a good question. I think Trump was a little lax on H-1B1s. I think he didn't see the problem with increasing the number of H-1B1s that we have in this country. Luckily, he hasn't actually implemented anything increasing that, but that's one thing I definitely disagree with him about.
Who do you think is better at taking bribes? I wonder.
Wow, is this all the left has? Just bribery?
Even on the
accusations?
left or the right, I don't give a shit about politics. I just think it's funny
Just
how you
bribery
guys will
accusation
go and
after
die on
bribery
this
accusation.
hill.
They're not accusations. Fucking Tim Apple, the CEO or Tim Cook, I did a Donald Trump. I called him Tim Apple. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, gave Trump a gold bar. He's these quid pro quo corruption, dirty deal things. They happen all the time.
Right.
What do you think of Saudi
man.
Arabia? You think that's a good country?
Oh my God. Yeah, this is another thing that just makes me think the left has no brain. The fact that you guys are upset about a country giving us hundreds of billions of dollars worth of plane.
Yeah, that's Qatar, dipshit. I'm talking about Saudi Arabia.
All right, on that note, this UFC fight is starting, so I gotta get out of here. But
Donald Trump, through the Saudi Arabian Live Golf Tour, takes in millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia. You okay with that?
Bribery. Is this all?
Yeah,
you
that
have?
is bribery.
Don't you think there was enough lawfare against the man? You're just gonna. I mean,
It's
don't you know
literally
that this is-
against the Constitution for a president to accept any amount of money from a foreign government, and yet he does it.
Yeah.
So
I
you
mean-
don't care about the Constitution.
You guys lost in a landslide.
Do you care about the
You guys
Constitution?
don't think like normal people.
Do you care about the Constitution?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Then why? Okay, do you care that Trump is violating the Constitution?
So are you the arbiter if
Do you care that Donald Trump is violating the Constitution?
I can't make that determination? I'm not the
He
Supreme Court.
takes money from foreign governments. That's
Okay, so
against
what did
the
the Supreme
Emoluments
Court say on
Clause.
this
It couldn't be more clear.
What did the Supreme Court say on the situation? What did
I don't
they say?
think I don't think it's been taken to them because nobody has the spine to do it. Probably because also a lot of Democrats are corrupt.
We have these judges every 2 seconds ruling left and right against everything Trump does. Why would they not give an injunction against him? And bring it
Probably
to the-
because the left wing is also corrupt, so they don't want to go after
okay.
corruption.
So you want more lawfare, not less, right? So you
I
think
want
all of these
criminals to be
district court
prosecuted
judges-
for their crimes, and I want presidents who are violating the Constitution to probably be impeached.
Yeah, right. So I'm the one who follows the Constitution. You're asserting.
No, you
things-
don't, because you don't care that Donald Trump is taking money from foreign governments.
Did the Supreme Court say he can't do that?
It's in the Constitution. They haven't had a case against
I understand
him.
the Constitution
Hasn't been,
exists.
buddy. The Supreme Court doesn't do their own trials. They don't say, well, we
why-
want to decide. We want to decide what we are going to now give rulings on. Cases are brought to them. A case has not been brought against him.
Why not? That's the question. The
I
left has
answered
tried to
that
bring
2
cases
times
every
already.
freaking week against the guy. You understand that? Multiple times a week, there's cases.
Yeah, and
being
he
brought
loses
against him.
time and time and time
He
again.
loses. Every Supreme Court decision has been in his favor except the Kilmar one, which he abided by.
No, the
Oh,
he
so
lost
which
the, he
one?
lost the Harvard case just recently.
That wasn't the Supreme Court. That was another.
Oh, that was a
district
lower court?
judge. Yeah.
So the question is, do you support Donald Trump violating the Constitution with respect
No, I
to taking
don't.
foreign money?
Well, okay, so now you're saying things he's done has violated the Constitution, which I'm not the arbiter of if that's true or not. You think you are. I
Does the
acknowledge I'm not.
Constitution prohibit taking foreign money if you're the president? It actually
Well, I mean,
prohibits
there's
it no
probably
matter
some
what.
language around it, I would imagine. It probably doesn't just say 3 words, can't take money, right? Do you acknowledge that there's legal language around this? I mean, you're
Do you
going
want
to
to read the Emoluments Clause? We can read it together.
Sure, let's read it. And you have to also say that what the Supreme Court ruling is on the topic, because you and I cannot interpret this ourselves. You get that, right?
Jesus Christ. I can read. You not being able to read is the most MAGA tracking thing I've ever heard, but I can read.
Okay.
So no,
for the
if a
Second
case
Amendment, do
has
you
not
believe
been
in
brought
gun
to the
rights?
Supreme Court, then we don't need them. They
believe in
speak
gun
English just like the Constitution is written in, just like I speak
The
as
right
well.
to bear arms shall not be infringed. Do you agree with that, word for word?
Yeah, a well-regulated militia.
Yeah, well-regulated militia.
Yeah, so let's
Shall not be
well
infringed.
regulate. Hey, do you know where I can buy a bump stock?
Yeah. So again,
Do you know where I can buy a bump stock?
Dude, I'm arguing against your point. You're saying take it literally. I don't believe that there shouldn't be any restrictions on gun rights. Just to be clear, if you didn't realize.
Do you know where I can get a bump stock?
No, I don't.
Why is that?
You can't, bro.
Why is that?
I agree that
What
you
happened?
can't, dude. There is regulations, and I'm for them. You're the one.
What?
saying
Where did
take
the
it
regulation
literally.
against bump stocks come from?
Yeah, the legislative branch. Okay, so
Try again.
or maybe a Trump executive order, one of those. But you're laughing at me as if I'm against that. I mean, you're.
Oh,
you're
no,
arguing
it's
against
funny
your point.
because of how hard you tried to deny it.
Deny what? What are you talking about?
Where can I
You're
get a bump
arguing
stock? How
against
come
your
I can't
point
get a
and you
bump
don't
stock?
even realize that.
How come I can't get a bump stock?
Yeah, because there was a Trump regulation against
There
it.
you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Well,
It's
actually,
weird
did
how you
Biden-
didn't say
did
that at
Biden
first.
overturn that? Well, I didn't know if it was bump stocks or some other thing that he did an executive order against. I assume it was bump stocks. But anyways, I mean, you're arguing against your point. Do you realize that?
No, I'm not.
I'm not the one taking it word for word literally. I understand there's some interpretation that needs to go around the words in the Constitution.
Okay, so I did a tiny bit of digging while we went on that little side thing there. The Supreme Court has never taken up a case on the Emoluments Clause. Okay,
Oh, weird.
one of the big reasons for there's 2 big reasons for that. Historically, well, I wouldn't say that this is historical, but like as an example, Jimmy Carter, like he sold his own peanut farm just to get rid of even the illusion of corruption, right? Because you're not supposed to take any money, and that's domestic, but you're not supposed to take in any money while you're holding office, because somebody who is in office is supposed to work for the people, and taking money gives, like, if it even gives the illusion of corruption, most decent people understand that that's wrong, but it specifically says you can't take foreign money. So we said we were going to read the Emoluments Clause, right?
Alongside the Supreme Court decision, which you admit
There
does not
are no
exist.
Supreme Court decisions along the Emoluments Clause.
Yeah, that's my point. Thank you.
So you just so which parts of the Constitution do you specifically say have no known interpretation?
What do you mean by that?
Your whole argument is based on, if the Supreme Court hasn't made a ruling on it, then we don't even know what the interpretation of that part of the Constitution is. That's wildly stupid. That would have mean when the country was formed, nothing was federally illegal.
No. When you make assertions that something's unconstitutional, you don't have the ability to say that until the Supreme Court.
Yes, I
says
do,
that.
because I can read the Constitution.
Okay. So can you rephrase it to say I believe it's unconstitutional?
I don't know what kind of
That's
like
fine.
debate lord weirdo tactic this is, but the Constitution
do you understand
says
there's a
things.
difference between
It
saying
doesn't
it is
become
unconstitutional versus
true
I
or
believe it to
false
be?
if and only if the Supreme Court has given a ruling on it.
What is the Supreme Court's job? Can you tell us that?
To interpret the Constitution.
Oh, yeah, that's not exactly what I said. That's their job, to interpret if the Constitution is
Yeah, but
if a
only when
particular
there's a
law or
pressing
regulation
legal
conflicts
case.
with the Constitution. Yeah, I know. It's called standing. I get it. Why haven't these judges brought standing against him, or these lawyers for these different states? Why have
Probably
they not
because Democrats are also super corrupt and they don't want to bring forth corruption things. Kind of like
Yeah, I understand they're corrupt.
the whole
Yeah, they
stock
are
trading
corrupt.
thing. Why does that never go anywhere? Because both sides talk about it. There are people on the left that are very against people in the House and Senate trading on stocks, like a Bernie Sanders. There are people on the right who are also against it, like Josh Hawley. But so many of them do it that neither one of them will actually do anything about it because there's garbage on both sides.
Right.
You ready for the Emoluments Clause?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. There's two parts of it. There's a domestic and a foreign. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, accept any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. So what's not clear about that?
What's not clear about that is that if there was a gift that was given and it has zero influence over the president's decisions, is it actually illegal?
Do you know what the hardest thing to prove in the court of law is?
Motive.
Intent. So we're both kind of right? What's that movie? It's not about what you can. It's I think it's Training Day. It's not about what you know. It's about what you can prove. Like literally, all they have to do is do. Like, you think that people that are engaging in corruption don't know how to play the game? You know, I told you to. Hey, can you take care of Tommy Two Shoes for me? Oh, I meant take him out for dinner. I didn't mean put lead shoes on him and throw him in the Hudson River. I said take care of him. The idea that you couldn't cover up your corruption and be able, and so therefore the only way to establish it is to prove it, prove the intent, which actually our current Supreme Court, I would say over half of them need to be impeached because of the way they approach corruption. They're absolutely horrendous at it.
Yeah, and all I'll say is thank God the legal system that you want is not the one that we have over here.
What legal system do I want?
Well, you're saying
I want people that are violating the Constitution to be removed from
evidence.
office. I would impeach Donald Trump for violating the Constitution. I would also
like
get
I
rid
said,
of Eric
you're basing it
Adams
on violence.
for the same thing.
You admit that they would hide evidence, and you go, oh, because of that, like we can't actually have some sort of trial or formal accusation because they hide their tracks. But let's impeach them anyway, even though there's no evidence. That's the legal system that you want.
Buddy, so you've kind of confused things here. The Constitution doesn't say if a president engages in it doesn't prohibit corruption. You don't need to write things down like that. Nobody's dumb enough to think that we should form a country that has corruption. Instead, what they say is, specifically, you're not allowed to take titles or emoluments or anything from foreign countries. Why would they do that? Because they care about corruption. So you don't even have to prove corruption for it to be against the Constitution. You can't accept foreign gifts. He accepts foreign gifts.
Statue of Liberty, was that a foreign gift?
That was a gift to the country.
And the plane was not? The Qatar plane? I assume you were against that too.
Yes.
Okay, so the plane that they gave us,
because it goes to his library on a technicality, even though it's for who is it
No, it goes
for?
to the country. What are you
It's
talking
for Donald Trump.
You think the plane that Qatar gave us is a personal plane that Trump's using? It's for the country. That's going to be it's going to be stripped and checked to make sure it's safe and all. You don't.
I'm
know
not
that?
worried about the plane being wiretapped. I'm worried that, geez, this is a terrible country with horrible human rights violations, but they give Donald Trump a $400 million gift. So is that likely to influence the way that he treats them? Yeah. Oh,
So
you'd have
that's
to
what
be
I'm
an
saying.
idiot
You're
to not
basing it
think
on
so.
vibes, not evidence. You're just saying, is it likely? Yeah, let's indict him. Let's just impeach him because something's likely. That's your justice system.
How important do you think being the president of the United States is?
Very important, which is why we
So
suffered
then why
when
do
we
you
had
think
someone
that
with
even
dementia in
then why do you
absence for
think
4
that we
years.
shouldn't be sensitive even toward the possibility of corruption, especially when it comes to horrible places like Qatar?
Yeah, because I'd like to see some evidence that there is corruption.
So it's the most important job in the world, but you don't care unless you can prove intent, the most difficult thing to prove in a court of law.
What preferential treatment do you see him giving Qatar? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, like normal people would say, okay, wow, they gave us a gift.
Sure, here's an example. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know who Pam Bondi is?
Yeah, I do.
Do you know that she worked for Qatar?
Oh, whoa.
She was paid $115,000 a month. Jesus Christ. Oh, well, it would be bad if you could actually demonstrate that there was some sort of relationship between Trump and Qatar. And now here I am explaining it, and then you just hand wave it away. But I'll go through it anyway. She was paid $115,000 a month by Qatar to do work for them, and she didn't disclose it. She got in trouble for that. Here's another thing. She was investigating Trump University, which was a fraud organization, as we all know, when she was the Attorney General of Florida. And then guess what? She magically dropped the case. Why do you think she magically dropped the case? Guess. Go ahead and guess. Why do you think Pam Bondi, as the Attorney General of Florida, was investigating Trump University, but then suddenly dropped the case?
Because Trump said, hey, if you drop the case, you're going to be the next Attorney General when
He gave her $25,000.
Yeah, and then he gave her an envelope with money in it. Yeah, that's why. Pretty bad, huh?
There's literally nothing we can do with you idiots. What do you think Biden did that was bad?
Well, I think we had the highest inflation that we've seen in years, more than 9%. We had the leftists like yourself saying, "Oh, don't."
Yes, Joe Biden caused a pandemic. So what's the second worst thing you think Joe Biden did?
He doesn't have dementia. Don't believe your eyes.
He doesn't have dementia. Do you have an actual doctor's write-up that actually proves that he has dementia?
I never called Kamala the borders.
Do you have an actual doctor's write-up that like an extremely rigorous medical exam that definitively says that Joe Biden has dementia?
We had tens of millions.
So you don't have that? Okay, so so far you have nothing against Joe Biden. What would be the third worst thing you would say there was about Joe Biden?
Peak mental health.
And if you don't have documented, absolutely pristine, perfect evidence, I'm just gonna say nah.
Right. No, I agree.
What's the worst thing about Joe Biden?
We had tens of millions of illegal immigrants crossing our country.
Oh, do you have an exact count of that? Do you have video footage that shows all 10 million of them crossing the border?
Yeah. Go on YouTube and type in 10 million illegal.
YouTube? Yeah, that sounds like some sort of CGI fake news stuff. I bet you're going to get that from One American News Network or OA. Oh, wait, OAN is One American News Network. So do you have any real evidence that you could actually prove in a court of law?
Yeah, because Joe Biden within the first week got rid of effective border policies such as Remain in Mexico and all of these other Trump border policies that essentially made our border wide open. He implemented the CBP One app, which made it so anyone could just go on their phone and press 3 buttons and claim asylum and just get let right into our country with a future court date.
How is an expedited asylum process illegal or unconstitutional?
Oh, did I say it's unconstitutional? Did I ever say that word?
No.
No, I didn't, right?
So then what's the problem?
Yeah, because it made it so millions and millions of people came into this country when they didn't actually go through a formal process that has worked for the past administration. It made it so.
And you think that that's worse than taking millions of dollars from people who behead people in the public square? You think that's worse than taking millions of dollars from the people that flew planes into the World Trade Center?
Oh, sorry, you keep muting me, and that's weird.
Yes, I'm going to mute you again when you don't answer this question, which I know you will not.
So yeah,
do you think that's worse than taking millions of dollars from the people that flew planes into the World Trade Center?
I do, yeah. Flooding our country with people we don't know who they are by the millions. I do think that's worse.
Oh, geez.
I think most people think that's worse, actually.
So how many 9/11s would you take over Joe Biden's
adversarial
presidency?
Say that one more time.
How many repeat 9/11s do you think would be worth it if we didn't have to have Joe Biden as president?
Oh, brother. Yeah. Wow, great
That's your
analogy.
argument. You think that what he did was worse.
Said,
so how many repeat 9/11s would you take to prevent Joe Biden from being president?
9/11. I answered your question like you asked.
How many repeat 9/11s would you take to block Joe Biden from being president?
Nice straw man, dude. Just making up
How
things.
many 9/11s would be the number of 9/11s that would occur that would finally make it worse than having Joe Biden's presidency ever happen?
Yeah, one 9/11 is worse than what happened. Yeah. But that wasn't your question.
Well, then that gets rid of your entire argument from before.
Don't pretend that was your original question. You're just lying to your audience right now.
Oh, you're right. I lied because I talked about taking millions of dollars from the people that attacked us.
That's
so
your question.
how many terrorist organizations would Trump have to fund for that? Or not funding. How many terrorist organizations would Trump have to take money from in order for his presidency to be worse than Joe Biden's presidency?
How many terrorist organizations? The government of Qatar. Terrorist organizations.
Buddy,
what's the name of?
I don't know how stupid you are. I'm pretty sure it's a lot. We are designating the way this country designates groups as being terrorist organizations is literally just based off of like what kind of political goal or like ideology or what kind of message they want to send against them. Okay, like the way drug cartels are being formally classified as terrorist organizations is literally just a political stunt. If you think that a country that flew planes into the United Trade Center and hacked a journalist to pieces because they didn't like the stuff he was talking about, if you think that they're not terrorists, then you don't even have a brain, okay? So, how many terrorist organizations would you say is too many for Trump to take millions of dollars from?
You would say the government.
I would say the answer is one.
Threat than the cartels that are in our country. You would say that.
Nice pivot, you beautiful slow boy. How many terrorist organizations would it start to be wrong for Donald Trump to take money from?
You mute every 2 seconds, man. What's up with that?
How many terrorist organizations would you say it's not okay for Donald Trump to take money from?
Yeah, I'm just going back to the fact that you said the cartels are on the same level as the government of Qatar. Do you have any evidence?
I'm talking about Saudi Arabia.
Okay,
the Live Golf Tour is Saudi Arabia. I explained that to you. If you don't know if you don't know where those people who flew planes into the World Trade Center were from, then like I said, you don't even have a brain. I'm not talking about Qatar. So
you're comparing
Donald Trump takes millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia, a terrorist country. Do you think that that's okay?
So once again, you're comparing as if they're...
Do you think that it's okay for Donald Trump to take money from a terrorist country?
So what should we do with Saudi Arabia? Just completely cut ties with them? Is that what you're saying?
We should absolutely stop buying oil from them, yes.
Okay, but that's not what I said. Absolutely cut ties, as in have no diplomatic relations with them, have no sort of communication with them. Let's just cut ties with them. Is that the worldview of Planet Peterson?
I don't exactly know what that means. I don't believe in total isolationism, but we pretend like Saudi Arabia are not the bad guys, and it's really pathetic. So again, nice pivot.
That is what you're espousing.
That has nothing to do with whether or not we have embassies and diplomatic relationships with countries all over the world, but that has nothing to do with whether that doesn't make it okay for the president to take money from them. Let me ask you a different question. You said you didn't care about the Hunter Biden, Ukraine energy thing, whatever. How much money do you think would have been acceptable for Ukraine to give Joe Biden for letting Hunter Biden be on that panel? My answer is zero.
how much money would be acceptable if the government of Ukraine gave Joe Biden money for Hunter Biden to be on the panel?
Yeah, my answer is 0.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say 0 if it's...
How much money is it appropriate for Saudi Arabia to give Donald Trump?
For what in return?
It doesn't matter. We have an emoluments clause.
It doesn't matter. You just gave an example of where Biden got something. You just gave an example of if he gets money, then something happens. So what's the equivalent in this Trump scenario?
We have an emoluments clause to our Constitution.
Hello? You're not going to answer that? You can't. So you
Well,
can't
did
even
Donald
phrase
Trump...
the question
Actually,
correctly?
I don't know if that happened. Say again.
You can't even phrase your question correctly? You just asked if A, then something completely different than A.
You know what?
Which one
Fair
would you
enough.
propose?
How much
I know
money
it's
would
famous.
it be appropriate for Ukraine to give Joe Biden for any reason whatsoever?
Well, then I would say it's a case-by-case basis.
Then you don't believe in the Constitution.
So, how so? Did the Supreme Court say otherwise?
Can I get a double-digit IQ MAGA voter out there? Do you guys exist?
So you
A
disagree
double-digit
that the Supreme
IQ.
Court interprets the Constitution. You disagree with that.
Your argument is the logical entailment of what you are saying is that we had a constitution before we had a Supreme Court, right? Why did I ask you that? Of course you didn't know that.
The Court is. Yeah, I know.
Did we
You
have
know, in the
when the
Constitution, what the
Constitution
Supreme
was
Court does
ratified,
is
did we have a president?
Yeah, again, the Constitution frames what the government itself
Dirk.
looks like. So yes, the Constitution came first.
Okay, how many branches of government did we have when
0.
Okay, so you actually do know a little bit of civics. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah, and
according
I
to
acknowledge a very
Dirk, according to your was there such thing as anything that is or is not constitutional before the Supreme Court was created, which was like in the 1780s or maybe it was early 1790s? We didn't have a Supreme Court for a couple decades until after the Constitution was ratified. So was there any such thing as a federal crime or a crime against the Constitution before that?
before we had a constitution, no, there wasn't.
You fucking idiot. I said before we had a Supreme Court.
Oh, before we had a... What do you mean
Between the
before we had
time
a
of the
Supreme
ratification of the Constitution and the formation of the Supreme Court,
God.
was there such a thing as federal crimes? Was there such a thing as what is against the Constitution?
Before we had a Supreme Court? I mean, no. How could any... So according to who, something...
I can't.